there are some rumors swirling around. The New York Knicks might be interested in Eric Gordon. How do you guys feel about that? I will start with the man shaking his head.
Well, that was both of us, I think.
I was over here smiling. I was just waiting to see how the table would turn.
He had a smile on his face. Foxy had a frown.
Why do we want
He was
to
shaking his head?
Why do we want to trade for a guy that's 6'3", 6'4", that he's shooting well from 3 this year, but he's a 37% career. Just meaning 6'3" or 6'4". Go with Grimes. I don't want to get anybody 6'3" or 6'4".
Okay. All right. That was a quick take.
Well, there's other guys. I'm trying to be respectful.
That was a very lovely, lovely quick take. I appreciate that, Foxy. Quis, how about you, man? How do you feel?
A move for Gordon. I feel similarly to Foxy when it comes to him potentially coming in and taking minutes from Grimes. I was doing some trades on the computer just to see what we could do. If I am going to make a move for someone like Eric Gordon, I'm talking to Houston and I'm saying we're going to have to expand this trade a little bit. You know, the 3 areas that the Knicks are really desperate at right now is a stretch 5, 3-and-D wing with length, and also a point guard. So I'm looking at the Houston Rockets roster and I'm saying, hey, can we discuss, potentially adding Christian Wood into the deal, try to expand it a little bit more, include Evan Fournier, see if they'll be willing to take that contract, somewhat similar to Eric Gordon. Even though Eric Gordon, he only has 1 more year guaranteed after this one, and then I think the following year is only guaranteed if he makes the All-Star team or plays 500 minutes in the regular season or 750 with the regular season and postseason combined. So if the Houston Rockets are willing to enter a deal, maybe I'll have Mitch available. You have the Rockets, they're a young squad. If we can swap Mitch for Christian Wood, maybe that might, reinvigorate this offense a little bit more, help with the spacing. Christian Wood has been a solid defender in the paint, solid rebounder, and can shoot the 3. So if I'm going to make a move for an Eric Gordon, I'm going to need more than just, Eric Gordon coming in here and taking minutes from a Quentin Grimes, because we have a younger version of Eric Gordon right now in Grimes. So why make that move? Especially if they're going to ask for some type of draft compensation. If draft compensation is going to be involved, then let me get a little bit more bang for my buck.
That is some, I like that. That's some good thinking there, Quis. I mean, it's kind of similar along the lines of the attitude that I had about it. I didn't have time to dive into the particulars of what possibly might be available in terms of expanding the scope of the trade. But I have been a fan of Christian Wood for a while. And it's even possible he can be used. It's possible he can be used as a stretch 5 at times.
He's a good shot blocker.
He's a very good shot blocker. He gives us that rim protection that Mr. Thibodeau, Coach Thibodeau, who must be loving life nowadays. Thibodeau must be so... Can you imagine hanging out with him lately? Going out for a beer with him?
A prickly fella.
Woo! He gives you that rim protection. He can shoot the 3. He's got a live body. He could be an interesting guy to pair with Julius. So, and then, Eric Gordon, I see him as more like insurance policy. Burks, every season Burks is out for a stretch of games. And Gordon can, he can spend a few minutes at the 1 sometimes when you need it. He really is a true 2 card, but he could be interesting next to Deuce in the second unit, because I really don't think, unless Evan Fournier starts waking up and starts contributing, he may not be long for this team regardless. So he might be part of that trade with the Rockets, even though the Rockets do have the youth movement. But the Rockets can then, maybe there's a 3rd team involved where, Evan Fournier, he's still who he is. He's still, a career, what is he, 38%? Well, actually, in the past,
37.
37 for his whole career, but the past 3 seasons is more like 39 or something like that. So he's still that guy. We're just not. He's not doing it for us right now. I do believe though he will eventually get his shot together. Shooters will eventually shoot, but we have the defense issues and stuff, and maybe some chemistry with Julius and even with RJ. I don't often see much going on between Fournier and RJ when they're on the court together in terms of.
And when it is, it's poor execution. You can just see them on off-ball screens. It's just sloppy.
Exactly. So he may not be a good fit anyway, but it's not like he can't play. The guy can play. Someone will want him. Someone who needs that 3-point shooting and a little bit of that creativity that he can give you. He can drive, though he hasn't been doing it that effectively recently. So maybe there's a bigger deal involved here that's possible to make this thing happen, because there are a couple ways that you get yourself out of the funk that we're in as a team. And one way is a trade of some kind. Now, it's not the big juicy trade that a lot of people are wanting. It's not as sexy, but if you put in Christian Wood, that starts getting really interesting.
Perk some ears up.
Yeah. I mean, maybe we even get them to throw in Garrison Matthews in there too. That guy can shoot.
He can shoot.
Yeah, he's a shooter.
My concern with Gordon, though, is I'm looking at it. He's out now with a groin, but I'm looking at his injury history: knee, leg, lower left knee, ankle, knee, leg, knee, ankle, rest, knee soreness. And it's like, come on, man. I want to bring in some young spry. I don't want anybody with any injury histories. Have we learned nothing? What we've gone through this year?
Yeah. The only thing is, like, again, I don't see him as like we're not gonna depend on him too much.
You say that, George, but remember, this is the coach we have,
Tibbs.
Tom Thibodeau.
That's my boy.
Look at the way
That's
the
true.
season is starting to spiral
Very
out
true.
of control. Tibbs is going to start coaching the hell out of this roster to squeeze every win he can get. So you're bringing in a veteran like Eric Gordon. I can easily see Tibbs, looking at Gordon and calling his number over a player like Grimes or even Deuce. So that's one dynamic I'd be a little bit concerned about. But if we're going to bring in a player like Christian Wood, then I'd be okay with that risk, because now we're looking at a center on this team that can, be our starting center, or we would hope can fill in that role and stretch the court out there, knock down threes, and play solid defense. And I think this offense would probably kick up to another gear if we had that piece.
Exactly. And also bringing in some new faces might inject some energy into this team right now. Gordon is a familiar face for D Rose. There'll be that, awesome story. As you can see here, Mark Berman tweeted
the Eric and
out.
Derek show.
Yeah, the Eric and Derek show from the AAU days. What were they called? The Mean Streets or something was the name of the something like that.
Name of the team. Yeah.
The name of their team, yeah. So there's that story. That would be kind of an interesting story as well. I don't know. I'm not sold on it, but I'm not off on it completely. It's a potential for me in terms of my feeling about it. Salute to everyone for joining us. Salute to Derek, comes in here with a super chat. Thank you so much for the contribution here. He drops the names Gordon, Buddy Hield. Let's just dive in. What do you guys think about these names? Well, we just touched on Gordon. Buddy Hield. He's been available, I think, since he came out of the womb. I love Buddy. My son and I ran into him at Summer League three years ago now, and he was trying to cut in the taxi line, and nobody was having it. So we sat there. We talked to him for a little bit. Nice guy. Obviously, excellent 3-point shooter. Big contract. He's interesting. I don't know. Again, I'm on the fence with him. I think it would have to involve some other elements for me to be interested in that.
What would you think of a swap with Fournier?
See, like, that's interesting. Like that's a great suggestion, Foxy. Now there might have to be some other elements, involved, but that seems
They're pretty close.
They're pretty close, and they both are like streaky per se, but they're both elite 3-point shooters. Hield is a step above.
Step above, yep.
Yeah, he's a step above. So that would be interesting. So that's a great suggestion right there. Quis, how do you feel about Mr. Buddy Buckets?
If we're gonna talk about a 1-for-1 swap with Fournier, then I'm cool with it. But if the Sacramento Kings are actually looking for, a come up, trying to get some legitimate assets to build for the future, then I would say no, because we would need our assets to continue to build for the future. So that would be the only thing I would make me hesitant about a Buddy Hield trade. What are the Kings going to be asking for? Are they going to want to have us dip too far into our surplus of picks? Because Buddy Hield is a solid piece. He's definitely an upgrade shooting wise, but I think his defense is still an area of concern. So for that, I really wouldn't want to go crazy and try to leverage the farm just to bring him in.
Yeah. And some of the rumor mills is if they would do that, they may want to get rid of Bagley in a deal with him.
See, that might make me be a little bit more interested, because now we can bring Bagley in. But then, can Bagley be a legitimate center? Yeah, can he be a legitimate center?
Yeah, but again, we get back to the injury woes.
They would probably want Sims.
They might want Mitch, because they remember back in the days there was a lot of rumbling about the Sacramento Kings being interested in a Mitchell Robinson deal.
True, but we could also move Bagley. We can like swing him to another team possibly at some point, but it probably would cost us. A couple of second rounders, which we have plenty of, but it might cost us one of the low first rounders.
And that would make me hesitant. A couple second rounders you can live with, but first for Buddy Hield, I don't know if I'm getting the most bang for my buck.
Especially if you give up Fournier. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. On top of a player as well.
Yeah. So that's a tough one. In terms of just fit and cost, in terms of what trade capital it would require to acquire him.